Hey everyone, it's the end of day 6 of the 500K walk for migrants and refugees. I apologize for not making a vlog yesterday for day 5. I wasn't in the best spirits, but I'm learning that if I want to do these vlogs right, I'm gonna have to share both the good and the bad with all of you. I want to be 100% real and honest, and if I want to do that on these vlogs, then I'm gonna have to let it all out. So yeah, here it goes. Yesterday and this morning, I was in a town called Morrisburg, and needless to say, I didn't find the people there very hospitable. And you know, uh, it was almost yeah, it was almost borderline racism what I experienced, and fairly Islamophobic. And a lot of my Muslim brothers and sisters can relate to this, I feel, because they probably experienced this in the past. You can't quite put your finger on Islamophobia because it doesn't have a general identity. It doesn't, Muslims come in all shapes and forms. It's not confined to, Islam is not confined to a particular culture or race. So when it does happen, it's always something that maybe not always, but at least from what I've experienced, it's always something that you kind of don't realize until you walk away from it. But you might be asking me, Mash, how are you so sure that you experience Islamophobia? And so you know, I'll start with what I noticed. Okay, in every town that in every town and each day that I've been on this walk, at least like two or three people have stop each day and tell me, are you okay? They check up on me. They're very nice while doing it. But I didn't experience that over here at all, and it was in fact the opposite. Like people were just honking most of the time. And I don't, honking is a language, right? So when somebody's honking you to support you, and when somebody's honking you to like get the hell out of the way, right? So yeah, it was more of the latter in this town. And I also noticed, like for the most part, drivers have always been courteous to me when I'm on the county roads. Like they make space for me whenever they can. Um, you know, we share the road, but it wasn't like that at all in this town. And when I'd walk into stores, people would, their eyes would immediately open and their heads would turn directly towards me. And I know I'm a fairly large guy, but I've been told that I'm a lovable teddy bear. But and like I know that as these days go by, like my facial features, like my beard is gonna thicken up, different. I'm gonna morph back into my um, Arab origins, and I'm not gonna look like your average Canadian. And I've realized that people are starting to treat me a different way. So tell me if I'm overreacting to all this. Maybe I am. Maybe it's all in my head because today I remind myself of a Islamic legend. In our teachings, and in Islamic teachings, he was a man who had one habit, and that habit was, every night before he went to sleep, he would think about anybody who wronged him on that particular day, and he would immediately forgive him. And he would always try to give people the benefit of the doubt whenever he can. So, I put this into practice, and today when I was walking, whenever I could, I would smile, I would I would wave if I felt it was appropriate, and lo and behold, by the end of the evening, there was somebody in Morrisburg who, it was actually a couple, a beautiful elderly couple who stopped, and they pulled over and asked to see how I was, and they were on their way to Bible study, and they were telling me, "Oh, we noticed you back in the road. We were wondering what you were doing," and we got into this whole conversation, and religion didn't even come up at all. So maybe it was in my head, but you know, I always try to stay positive, but that doesn't mean that you ignore the negative things around you. Um, all this, I believe, like the Islamic teaching I mentioned in the past, it ties into a modern value that a lot of us grew up here in Canada with, which is if you want, if you want something to change, you have to be the change that you want to see, right? If you feel the people around you are not compassionate enough or not kind enough or not generous enough or whatever it is, you start with yourself. You become what you want to see change. You become that end result, and you'll see people around you slowly and gradually change their actions because you ultimately have an effect on their actions. So yeah, that's the end of my rant, I guess, on Islamophobia. Um, Moral of the story: if you're gonna grow a beard, um, prepare to smile a lot more, and prepare to, say, "Hey, I don't bite" hard. All the Austin Power fans get that reference. Um, yeah, and I was thinking to myself, what if I did this social experiment, like, if I did this physical challenge, or this social experiment, if in a, where people would certainly look at me as a Muslim, like, I can pass off as somebody else other than a Muslim. But if I was in a thobe and I was wearing a headscarf, I wonder how different this experience would be. And excuse me. Um, and I can't imagine what this would be like if I was a Muslim woman with a hijab on doing this. You know, probably be completely different. And yeah, that's somewhat scary, but nonetheless, it needs to be addressed. Uh, so yeah, I guess that's it for today's vlog. I hope I'm not catching a cold, but an update on the migrant and refugee crisis. Pope Francis is going to be visiting Greece next week um, to address this crisis that's going on, and I'm really looking forward to what he has to say, because he's always been on the side of the migrants and refugees. He's always been encouraging the EU to accept more and be more accepting and hospitable towards the refugees. And I hope something good comes out of what he has to say next week. So yeah, so stay tuned to these vlogs, and I'll keep you all posted. Thank you all for your love and support. I can't thank you enough. I'll see you all tomorrow, and please share with me any thoughts, any ideas. I appreciate it all, and I'll try to respond as quick as I can. So that's it for me. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you all soon.